Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
Today I want to discuss with you the different levels of consciousness and how that can affect our lives. Many years ago I read a book called Power vs. Force written by David Hawkins, which just so happens to be one of Wayne Dyer's favorite books as well as Oprah Winfrey's favorite book. And the first time I read the book, it almost sounded like this. And the only reason it sounded like that wasn't because of the author. It was because the reader's level of consciousness wasn't there yet, being me. So I had to read the book a couple times to really understand what the author was talking about. So the book is really about two things. One is the fact that when we come from a place of force, we divide. When we come from a place of power, we bring together. And he explains different levels of consciousness and which falls on the category of force and which falls on the category of power. And the author explains the levels from the lowest level of 20 all the way up to the highest level of 700 to 1,000, a total of 17 levels, with the lowest level being shame. Then it's guilt, then it's apathy, then it's grief, then it's fear. So although fear is higher than shame, guilt, apathy, and grief, it's still something that immobilizes people because fear creates a lot of anxiety. And when we're anxious, we're afraid of doing things wrong, so we're immobilized, we don't do anything. The next level he talks about is desire. Now desire, he's talking about desire for alcohol, desire for gambling, desire for being promiscuous, desire for those kinds of things. Then he goes to level 150, being anger. Anger is level 150, hate, aggression. Next level 175 is pride. If you think about pride being individuals who don't like others lying to them, where is that stemmed from? That stemmed from pride, because the idea is, who are you to lie to me? Do you know who I am? It's coming from a place of pride. Then level 200, which is, you can call it the equilibrium, right in the middle, is courage. And the reason why courage is level 200 is because you are finally willing to put yourself in positions to be heard. You're willing to put yourself in positions to maybe make the wrong decision. Maybe you're facing your fears. You're overcoming your fears. Then the next level goes to neutrality. Neutrality is being able to see everybody's issues and challenges and staying neutral and still trying to provide some feedback for them. The next level after neutrality is willingness. You are willing to make things work. You are willing to bring people together. You are willing to hear people's feedback. You are willing to work with people. Then comes level 350, which is acceptance. Acceptance is to understand that people are going to let you down. People are going to make mistakes, and still willing to accept people and not judge them. Level 400 is reason. Reason, where you sit there and you can hear different issues, hear different challenges, hear different obstacles in a family setting, in a church, in a business, and still be able to bring it together and find ways to look for solution. That's level 400. Level 500 is love. You know, a lot of us ask the question and say, well, where was Einstein? Which level would an Einstein be? Einstein is level 499 because he was all about reasoning, but he didn't reach the level of consciousness of love. Love is level 500. After love comes level 540, which is joy. You actually get a chance to enjoy life at level 540. Then level 600 is peace. And the last level is level 700, which he considers that enlightenment. It's level 700 to 1,000. And he says in the book, currently there are only 12 people alive that are at level 700. Some of the names you can think about that he talks about in the book is folks like Buddha. He considers Jesus somebody at the level of enlightenment, right? So what can you and I do with the information he's sharing here with us? Well, if you think about it, life is all about knowing how to lead. And knowing how to lead is to understand what level of consciousness we're coming from, as well as what level of consciousness the people you and I are leading are coming from. So knowing that and understanding that life is all about influence, we realize that if you and I can figure out what level we're at on level of consciousness, right, and being brutally honest with ourselves, what would happen if you and I were to increase our levels of consciousness? How can that directly affect your life? Well, maybe the relationships we have in our lives would get better. Maybe we would do better with our business because we're improving as leaders. Maybe we'd do better financially. Maybe we'd actually be able to enjoy life. Maybe we'd actually be able to enjoy the special people that we have in our lives if we take the time to improve the level of consciousness that we have. I want to read an excerpt to you from the book that explains this in the best possible way. It says, high states of consciousness are frequently experienced by athletes. It's widely documented that long-distance runners frequently attain sublime states of peace and joy. This very elevation of consciousness, in fact, often inspires the prolonged transcendence of pain and exhaustion necessary to achieve higher level performance. This phenomenon is commonly described in terms of pushing oneself to the point where one suddenly breaks through a performance barrier and the activity becomes effortless. The body then seems to move with grace and ease of its own accord, as though animated by some invisible force. So I think in life we're always going to struggle between power and force, but it's important for you to kind of identify yourself. Maybe watch this video again and see where you rank, or where most of your life is all about, and find ways to enhance yourself on whatever level you may be to enter power and leave force. And if you do that, I can tell you, you're going to experience some nicer things in life in almost every aspect of your life if you know where to identify it and how to improve it. That's my message of the week to you, and please be sure to subscribe and share the video.